I've been a priest for 3 years and I absolutely love it. I actually went to college to study music, and my plan was to get my music degree and then move to California and do like professional music. And then it was when I was in college that I saw for the first time in my life a priest who loved being a priest, who was like amazing at it, who preached well, who was on fire for the faith. And then meeting with him one-on-one, I started discerning the call to diaconate. And then once I told him I want to be a deacon, he said, well, what about being a priest? And I said, nope, that sounds like a really bad idea. I do not want to be a priest one day. And he said, well, it's not going to kill you to think about it. And I go, well, he's right. It's not going to kill me. So I did. I started thinking about priesthood, and the Lord, over a few years, worked on my heart and revealed to me that I was made to be a priest. When I was discerning in college, one big challenge for my discernment was I had been dating somebody for 5 years, a long time. And so what was really difficult was recognizing that the decision between priesthood and marriage wasn't between a good and a bad, rather between two goods. And so really at the root, it was asking the Lord, how was I created? How was I created to give and receive love? My entire life, I defaulted to, I'm made for marriage. And the idea of being celibate was so foreign to me. And so I had this big fear as I was discerning that if I became a priest, I would be alone. And so the Lord really addressed that in my prayer life. I remember being in the chapel one day and I had this fear that I'd wake up maybe as a priest of 50 years, this alone in this dark room, like in a cot, like no wife, no kids, and then die was my fear. So I was reading a book by Mother Teresa, and this one little quote changed literally my life. And the quote was, if I make one child happy through the love of God, isn't it worth everything? And all of a sudden in my prayer, I imagined myself going up to heaven, because I thought, well, if I give my life and it's miserable, I better go to heaven. Right? It's like, that's like part of the deal, Jesus, all right? So I got to heaven, and I was in this white room, and Jesus was in front of me. Then he turned to his side. He goes, well, you don't know this guy, but he knows you. This guy, when he was on earth, he wasn't choosing my love. He wasn't choosing grace. And so he was going to go to hell. But you became a priest. He met you, he met me, Jesus, and now he's in heaven forever. And all of a sudden, something opened up inside my body, and I was like, whoa, like, if I become a priest, like if I give up my life, whether it's amazing or maybe it's extreme suffering, if one person can get to heaven, then yeah, it's totally worth it. And then my second realization was if God makes you for something, he doesn't make you for misery, depression, and loneliness. That would be a mean and evil God. Instead, if God makes you for something, and if you radically follow that, it'll be the most incredible thing you could ever imagine. And so that was a day when I was like, I'm going. For those who are discerning or maybe have never thought about it, my big encouragement is just start with the question of God, reveal to me why I exist. Because most of us don't even ask that. You don't have to know for 100% that you're called to be a priest to join seminary. If you have that desire, go. Check it out. The Lord will speak to you there as well. It's no wasted time if you're following the Lord.